Ecclesiastes 9 verse 12. For man also knoweth not his time, as the fishes that are taken in an evil net, and as the birds that are caught in the snare. So are the sons of men snared in an evil time, when it falleth suddenly upon them. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, by Hashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well and teach well. Shalom to the Lord, like men that scattered abroad, pushing this truth without sincerity. And also shalom to you, very few sincere sisters. Right, and brother, I'm one coming to the video, Lord one's edifying. Right, and it's really just from a real quick vision that, the Lord was blessed me to see, and it was of martial law. And it was a small clip. It felt like it was like I was there with an out-of-body experience. Because it was a quick scene, pretty much like on the highway somewhere. And as I'm moving through, I don't know if I was flying by or in a car, but you know how at nighttime when you're on the highway and you get like a little bit of light from the street light in the middle, like every couple of feet you'll see like a pole, a light pole. But for some reason, on this highway it was real dark, and you had one every so yards, and so I happened just to look up and look over. You see nothing but murdered out cop cars, and they like the Explorer, and only way I knew it was cop cars because it was they had the lights, but other than that, it was all black. And normally, you know how like when you see policemen when they when you're on the highway and they have a lot of them just sitting, right? You're on the highway in general, you facing vertically. You're going, with the highway, of course, you looking vertical, right? But it was so many cop cars, man. Them things, they was sitting horizontal, side by side by side. And the first thing I thought was like, oh yeah, these folks ready to roll in, and it just had me think, right, pretty much of the picture of the thumbnail. Matter of fact, this picture right here, because they definitely ready to roll in, right? We are definitely in the time of martial law, So after I seen it, I was just like, damn, hey, it's that time, man, right? And we already know, right? Us hopefully like men, right? We already know this time of Jacob's trouble is real close, Now inside the dream, yes, I was kind of calm, because it's like end of the day, we know the reality that we are in the flesh. So yes, you're gonna feel some type of way, but in the end, we know that Yahweh Shem Shai is gonna protect us through these times, right? So that was really that, and I just want to go inside a couple of scriptures that I had in mind, right? Just off thinking about that. Right, so I'll go to the first one, which would be Isaiah 59 and 19, because like I said, I had to ride by and I had to be invisible because they didn't pull me over, they didn't stop me, nothing like that. I just had to see a glimpse of it. Like these folks lined up and they ready, right? I'm not sure if y'all have seen, but in the news they talking about already for Georgia, about with troops, man. Well, matter of fact, a couple of videos ago that's circulating through TikTok and stuff, and bro's been doing videos on them already, but they haven't, they sending those troops to 19 more different states, right? And Georgia's one of them, So they finna have a lot of National Guards, right? Pretty much taking over all 50 states, right? They just trying to start off with these states, but most likely they already ready for all of them. They just give you a certain number so you can not lose your mind just yet. Right, this is the book of Isaiah 59, verse 19. And I'm going back into, like I said, it was calm, but I was just seeing the reality about what's about to go down. It says, so shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him, right? So how you have it inside the dream was, all of these these cop cars, right? They in position of what to go into the city, to move in, right? Do what they gotta do, Like it says in 2 Ezra 16, a burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, right? And they're ready to come in and do their job, man, right? Really fishing for the elect, right? And set things up for this new world order, right? So definitely want to go into the word for standard, lift up a standard. Right? This right is another faith booster as well. Because we don't have nothing to worry about. Right? We have to be in the mix of it though, right? I'm gonna grab that next. This what I'm finna say. This is the Hebrew word, right? Nus. Right. So in the times of it, right? In the time of Jacob's trouble, martial law, right? Lord gonna be our covering. Psalms 91. Right, but we will be in the mix of it. So, what is the definition behind this word? Shall lift up a standard, right? When this enemy coming like a flood, because he's gonna do. That's what he's gonna do. He's gonna rush in, right? But even inside that time, even inside the dream, that's what I felt. I was able to flee, escape, to take flight, depart, and the main one was disappear. Because I'm able to see these folks, but I didn't get pulled over. I didn't get stopped, but I was able to see what was going on. That they was pretty much already in position to roll out, right? And that's beautiful because the Lord said we're gonna be able to escape, right? And we know the Lord. I'm gonna grab that too in the book of 1 Peter, right? We should scarcely be saved, right? That's why I say, hey, we gonna feel it in the flesh, but ultimately, right, that faith is gonna be in overdrive. It's gonna be, you're gonna feel more of the faith than the flesh, right? To D, I'm going down to D, right? D3, it says to cause to disappear, hide. See, we better hide inside that time when this man coming like a flood, disappear, right? And that's the faith right there, right? This right here, the book of 1 Peter 4 and 18. Kind of 17 is beautiful too, right? But 18, the point. And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear, right? Because if we barely gonna make it, where the unbelievers gonna be at? They're not gonna make it at all, right? So we can get that word for scarcely, right? And then it says with difficulty, hardly, right? Not easily, very rarely. See? So like it's we barely made it through, but we will make it through, right? This is the book of Jeremiah. I use this one. Jeremiah 30, verse 7. And, hey, I woke up cheesing, you know what I'm saying? Cause like, hey, this is the time that we in. This is the reality that we're seeing on a day-to-day basis, man. Martial law. And just for the Lord to have me out the mix, but I'm seeing the mix though. I'm seeing these folks getting ready, right? Jeremiah 30 and 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. See? We're going to be saved out of it. Rather, if you inside the concentration camp, you won't go through that trouble like how the 2/3 will be, right? Even if you have to get beheaded, right? Hey, that just, you might have, my humblest opinion, you might even feel it. The Lord's want to try out your faith, and even for the one that won't have to get beheaded or be in a concentration camp, and we're going to be out the mix, you know? We're going to be saved out of it, right? Ultimately, you're going to be destroyed in time of Jacob's trouble, right? So, yeah, grab this last one, because this right here reminded me too of the dream, right? Really verse 68, but I can read down to 70. I can read down to 71. Right, because really the point was in 68 and 70. Right, it says, for behold, the burning wrap, and also 2 Ezra chapter 15 as well, you know, the man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Matter of fact, let me just pull that right quick. And that's what's coming, you know, with all them damn, them cars, right? You're going to have more than just the cars, the trucks, right? You're going to have tanks, you know. Right, this 2 Ezra 15 verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Why? Because boots will be on the ground, right? You will have martial law troops set up, right? You won't be able to go into these different cities, and ultimately, you're gonna have that sea help, right? Soon, to travel, you know. But for now, they're just trying to pick up people, you know. And some people won't even make it to the concentration camp. Some may be killed inside they got them home, you know, because it's just a burning wrath of a great multitude. You know, it said they should be like madman, sparing none. See? So someone's going to just kill you out the strength. Right? But 68, it said, for behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you, and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. Right? And I was watching one of the bros yesterday, and the brothers from St. Jersey, and he was like, hey, best believe it is more than one alligator Alcatraz, which we do know, right? I agree. You know, they just had to use Florida as an example, but they got all these spots set up, man. Right, and it's gonna feed you idol things offered unto idols, right? They're gonna have you inside these prisons. That's your idle time, and they're gonna try to feed you idol, you know, which will be that MOTB. It says, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot. For there shall be in every place in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord, right? And we already know that these troops is really looking for us elect, you know. Verse 71, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord, right? So they're going to be coming in, not giving a fuck, you know, sparing nobody, you know. So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. You know, I'm going to give our honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Krakadas. Shalom.